Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to day 13 of Vlogmas. So today I'm doing the 12 Days of Christmas book tag, and this was created by Lizzie Loves Books, so make sure to leave a link down below to their video so you guys can go check it out. And before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe down below if you have not yet already. I am uploading every single day in December, and you're not going to want to miss a single upload. But now let's get into the book tag. So the first question is A Partridge in a Pear Tree, your favorite standalone book. My favorite genre is contemporary, and contemporaries typically come as standalones, so I could have picked a lot of books for this one, and you guys might be shocked by the answer of it not being my favorite book of all time, but that book comes up later in the video. I didn't want to use it a million times, so keep that in mind. But the book that I decided to go for this one is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is definitely one of my favorite books of all time, and therefore one of my favorite standalones, but this is a book about our main character Eliza, and she writes this really popular webcomic called Monstrous Sea, but no one knows that she is the creator of it. And then one day she befriends this new guy at school named Wallace, and she finds out that he actually writes fan fiction for Monstrous Sea, and so they start to get closer, but he has no idea that she's the creator of it. It's this really cool story, but it deals with anxiety representation, which means a lot to me because I do have anxiety, and so for that reason it's one of my favorites. I also just really love the writing, and there's so many elements of this that I love. There's fandom, there's online friendships, a really cute romance. There's just so many things about this book to love, and if you guys have not picked it up yet, I definitely recommend it. It's just absolutely one of my favorite books of all time. Question 2, Two Turtle Doves, fictional OTP or your favorite ship? So for this one I went with Cinder and Kai from the Lunar Chronicles. I have a lot of favorite ships, but this is one of the first ones that came to mind. I just think that they are so adorable. The tension between them is amazing because Cinder is just this like poor mechanic, and Kai is a literal prince and about to be the emperor of New Beijing. Oh, I just love it so much, and there's just like so many little moments between them that I'm not gonna say because they could be minor spoilers for the series, but there's just so many little things between them that they do things, and then they like try to like rationalize why they're doing it without acknowledging that they have feelings for each other, and it's just like the cutest thing, but I'm absolutely obsessed with it, and I just think that their chemistry is really good, and they're definitely one of my favorites. Question number 3, Three French Hens, your favorite trilogy. So I have a couple of favorite trilogies, but I'm gonna go with one that I don't talk about too often on my channel anymore, and that is Legend by Marie Lu. I believe this was the first book I ever read on my booktube channel, which is always really cool and special to me, but this is one of my favorite trilogies because I feel like I love each book either equally or more with each book. There is no disappointing book in this trilogy, and I just realized that there's technically a 4th book now, so this doesn't really work anymore. That just dawned on me. You know what, we're gonna go with it because I haven't read the 4th book yet, so this is still a trilogy in my mind. Let's just roll with the punches. Okay, I don't have time to change my answer. I just think that each book is so good. We're gonna pretend the 4th one does not exist, but I just love these characters so much. I am so invested in their stories and in their lives and their relationships, and Day and June, our main characters, are just so cute together. I love their chemistry, their tension, their everything with each other is just so amazing. I just think in general the writing is really good, the plot is really good, and it just kept me captivated the entire time. The 3rd book broke my soul at the end. Literally, there was one time I was reading it, I was rereading it at my kitchen table, and my uncle was sitting across from me, and I was reading it, and I started to cry, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "The book is just really emotional." And he was like making fun of me because I was crying over my book, but it's fine. I just love it so much. It's definitely my favorite trilogy, even though it's not a trilogy. It's fine, we're gonna go with it. Question number 4, Four Calling Birds, your favorite fictional beast or creature. So I tried really hard to think of an answer for this question, but I just couldn't. I don't read too many fantasies that have fictional creatures in them, and if I do, they're not ones that I particularly enjoy or want to talk about, so I don't have an answer for this question, and I really hate leaving things unanswered, but we're just gonna have to go with it. Question number 5, 5 golden rings, show 5 golden books. So this one was really hard for me because there aren't that many golden books, and if there are, I don't own them, and of course all the ones that I do have are really heavy, so give me a second here. So, okay. These are all of the golden books, and I realized looking at them here that they don't look very golden, but it's fine. So we have the Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead, which isn't really that golden, but it has golden in the title, so we're going with it. And then we have The Help by Catherine Stockett, which is very golden. Legendary by Stephanie Garber, which just the title's golden, but it's fine. Chain of Gold, which again, not very golden, but the title is in gold, and gold is in the title. And then we have Kingdom of Ash, which is the most golden book that I own, and I hate it. But you know what, this is the one time that I've ever been grateful for the fact that this book is randomly golden. That's fine. Question 6, 6 geese a-laying. Rotten egg. What's your least favorite book? So my least favorite book of all time is Where It Began by Anne Reddish Stampler. So this is a book about a main character who gets into a car accident in her boyfriend's car. She wakes up like in a hospital, I think, and she ends up being sued by her boyfriend's dad because she wrecked the boyfriend's car. And the entire time all she can think about is the boyfriend named Billy and does he still like her, and he's like pretending to still be her boyfriend even though he has this new girlfriend, but he's just kind of not telling her that they're not together anymore. And it's like this really gross toxic situation. He's an awful dude, but the entire time our main character only cares about him and what's going on with him. She does not care that she's being sued, does not care that she's injured, does not care she was in a car accident. She just wants to know that he is okay. And I just think that this girl needs to sort her priorities out, and there's just nothing about this book that I enjoyed, honestly. It was not good. Like, I don't think I've ever read a book where the main character has annoyed me this much. Like, there was just nothing good about this book. I hate it. I hate it so much. Question number 7, 7 swans a-swimming. Show a book with water on the cover. So for this one I went with Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. There is a lot of water going on right here. Lots of beautiful waves. I think it's gorgeous, and it has it all along the back cover as well. This is definitely the first book that came to mind when I thought of water on the cover. Like, I didn't even have to like look at my shelves or think about it. I just knew this one had water on the cover. Question number 8, 8 maids a-milking. What fictional food do you wish you could taste? So food is another thing that I don't really pay attention to when I'm reading, and I'm sure there are some great fictional foods that I just can't think of. So I'm going with a food that's not technically fictional, but it is fictional. Bear with me here. So I went with Lara Jean's Perfect Chocolate Chip Cookies from To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I actually think it might be from the sequel. Like, I think she does it in P.S. I Still Love You, where she just like endlessly tries to create the perfect chocolate chip cookie. I believe it's in that one, or it could be in the third one. It's in one of the books, but Lara Jean's Perfect Chocolate Chip Cookies. Now that I think about it, I do think it's from like the third book, but she basically, like, in the entire book, she's trying to create like the perfect recipe for chocolate chip cookies, and you know what? I'm a sucker for a good chocolate chip cookie, and if she claims that it is the perfect one, then I want to try it. Question number 9, 9 ladies dancing. Your favorite dance between 2 characters. So when I was coming up with this question, I actually like struggled to come up with an answer, but now I have 2. So my original answer was Feyre and Rhysand from A Court of Mist and Fury. There's this beautiful dance with them on a balcony, I believe it is, and there's like a beautiful starry night if I'm not mistaken, and I just remember it being really cute and like fangirling over it. I can't remember specifics because I have the worst memory, so the fact that I even remembered at all that they danced together is pretty miraculous, but I just love Feyre and Rhysand, so any moment where they're together is bound to be a favorite moment. But I just remember them being really cute, and I mean, come on, dancing with Rhysand sounds like a dream to me. So this was my original answer, but then I recently read A Curse to Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and there is such an adorable dance in this book. So our main character, Harper, deals with cerebral palsy, so she doesn't have that much strength, I believe, in one of her legs, and she deals with like a lot of like chronic pain and whatnot, and so she's never really known how to dance before. She's never tried to dance, and she doesn't think that she really can, but Ren is like, no, like you can dance, like we can dance together. And so they end up dancing, and it's like really, really cute, and just like a really sweet and tender moment. I think it's definitely like the first moments where she starts to like trust him, which I just love. So this is definitely another one of my favorite dances, and I was like, the second I like read that scene, I thought of this question for this tag, and so I had to mention this one as well. Question 10, 10 Lords a-Leaping. Your favorite book to movie adaptation. So for that one I had to go with Wonder. So Wonder is my favorite book of all time, so it just makes sense that the adaptation is my favorite movie of all time in general, by the way. But my favorite book to movie adaptation, like, they just adapted this book so beautifully for film, and they just got it so right. Like, there are definitely adaptations where they just don't nail it, they just don't get it right, they mess things up and it's just a train wreck. This is not one of those times. Like, when I tell you guys that I cry every time I see this movie, I'm not exaggerating, and I am definitely not exaggerating when I say that when I saw this in the theaters for the first time, I cried the entire way through. Like, my eyes did not stop streaming the entire time. There was always tears in my eyes, and it was like for multiple different reasons. Like, first it started because I was just so happy to be sitting in a theater watching my favorite book come to life. I was just sitting there and the movie hadn't even started yet and I started to cry, and then I was just so happy because as I was watching it, I'm like, they got this movie so right and just looked so beautiful. I'm crying now because I'm a sappy bitch. And then I started to cry at sad moments because there are definitely a lot of sad moments in this movie. And then I started to cry at the happy moments and the funny moment because other people would be like laughing, and that would make me happy knowing that I wasn't alone in being happy and enjoying the film like other people were enjoying it. And then I specifically started to cry when I saw that my mom was crying or laughing or enjoying herself because I really wanted her to like the movie. And so I just cried a lot during this movie. Like I cried so much. Like I said, my eyes were not dry the entire time. They were sobbing. I just love this movie a whole lot, and now I want to rewatch it. Question 11 Piper's Piping. Your favorite book to movie adaptation soundtrack. So I don't typically pay close attention to soundtracks when I'm watching anything, but for some reason I just really connected and loved the soundtrack for Love, Simon. I own the vinyl for it, and this is actually my favorite vinyl that I own because it just plays so beautifully and I love most of the songs. I don't know why I love the soundtrack so much. It just has so many good vibe songs that just work so well with the scenes, and it just adds so much. Let me tell you some of my favorite songs. I love Alfie's song, Not So Typical Love Song by Bleachers, Roller Coaster by Bleachers, Strawberries and Cigarettes by Troye Sivan, Love Lies by Khalid and Normani, the Oogum Boogum song by Brenton Wood is amazing, Someday at Christmas, of course, by the Jackson 5. The soundtrack is just golden. Like, they did such a good job creating this soundtrack that I'm just absolutely in love. And if you have not listened to it, listen to it because it is so good. And the final question 12 drummers drumming. It's the end of the song. What's your favorite book ending? I'm sure that I have a ton of favorite book endings. You know, the kind of endings that just make you sigh and clutch the book to your chest. I'm sure I have tons of those, but I have a terrible memory, so I don't remember any of them. But a book that I read semi-recently that I remember the ending of was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I wouldn't say this is a favorite ending because it made me happy. It also didn't make me sad necessarily. I just think that it tied in so beautifully with the entire book. I just think that V.E. Schwab wrapped it up so nicely. I love where Henry ends up in the story with Henry, and I just love Henry. He's my favorite. I'm pretty sure my jaw dropped when I read the ending. I have a whole vlog where I read this book that I'll try to link somewhere. I think I recorded my reaction to me reading the end of this book, and I just remember being like, oh my god. And just in general, V.E. Schwab has really beautiful writing, so it just made the ending that much better. So I definitely loved the end of this book. I think it was just a satisfying end to this crazy, beautiful story. So it's definitely one of my favorites. So that was the 12 Days of Christmas book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment a drama emoji down below if you stayed till the very end of the video. Subscribe if you have not yet already. I am uploading every single day this month. You're not going to want to miss it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Idiot. Are you okay? My nail. This book just took my nail off. Oh no.